A couple weeks ago, I released a song on iTunes and Spotify called the Movo song. The story behind that is that the brand called Movo sent me this microphone and asked me that I review it, make a video and all that stuff. And well, I liked the microphone a lot, and I made a kind of cool song, kind of funny song about the microphone itself. I was here at home, stuck at home, as we all are in 2020, so I used household objects as my drum set and percussions and all that. Because I like the song so much and I think it's so interesting and kind of funny, today I thought we would break it down. So today we are going into Logic, breaking down the song, how I wrote it, how I sampled those instruments, how I mixed it, and it should be an overall good time. So let's do this. Hey everybody, it's Pat and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I make all kinds of videos around creating music, like tips, tricks, tutorials, product reviews, original songs, breakdowns, React videos every now and then. So if you're into that, you might want to click the subscribe button. Once you've done that, you should really click the bell to get notified every single time I upload. All right, the Movo song. Let's jump right into Logic. I'm using OBS, so the video might be a bit choppy here, but let me just switch to our Logic session. I'm still in the bottom corner. And basically, we're going to listen to the song, and then we'll start just breaking it down. I'll mute some stuff, and I'll solo some stuff, and we'll just have a look around. We'll pop up the mixer and see what's going on. I haven't looked at this project or worked in this project since I released it, so it's going to be fresh for me too. But yeah, let's just listen to the song. I'll put the video up at the same time, and then we'll just start looking at stuff. All right, let's listen to it. Of course, go back to Logic. There we go. I'm making a smooth one. This goes out to all my Movo people. I'm looking at my email, what do I see? A brand called Movo wants to work with me. They'll send me a microphone, I'll give it a go. Use it for a while and make a review video. I open the box, I see 2 pieces of paper. Lift up the phone, I find an XLR cable. I look inside, and what do I find? A big black mic looking mighty fine. Movo VSM5. VSM stands for Very Solid Microphone. Movo VSM5. Get your hands on one of these, link in the description. Movo VSM5, baby. Not entirely sure what the 5 might stand for. Movo VSM5. Now let me hear some more of that homemade drum kit, baby. Come on. All right. I can't help but laugh when I listen to this song because, it's very me. What I mean by that is that there's a lot of effort into it. It's applied, but it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is the definition of my personality. If you've ever listened to my other singles or anything like that, some of it's a lot of recycled stuff from old bands that I never released and whatnot, and I just rewrite those songs and whatever. And it's kind of it's not like super serious, but it's somewhat serious. It's not like comedy music or anything like that. And I used to have another band called Horse Dog, which kind of went on indefinite hiatus, like in 2019 or something. That was like a stoner rock band. So writing songs like that, kind of as a parody, I don't know. It's really funny, makes me laugh, and you saw the video probably at the same time. And it's just, I love doing this kind of shit. I think it's hilarious. All right, so the first thing you'll notice is this sort of homemade kit, and every piece of video where you see me playing those instruments is the actual recording, like the video recording of me recording that sample, if that makes sense. So let's just pop this guy open here. These are the actual samples, and let's just solo them so we can listen to them. I'll unmute this, right? Oh yeah, if the click doesn't work, it's because my mouse has seen some age, and sometimes the click is being, in this case, there we go, look at that. All right, double vocals, let's remove that. Okay, cool. Let's just solo them and see what's going on. So I've got audio 1, probably nothing here. So bass drum is my office chair right here. Really just that. A lot of bass in there. Let's pop up the mixer and see what's going on. Not that much, actually. Just an EQ on here. And, man, this mouse, dude. Okay. Actually removed some bass. So not much going on here. No compressor, not like that. It's just really just me hitting the chair. Let's see. The toms is actually my toilet bowl. So you can hear that it's me closing that toilet bowl. And again, every time that you see me play those instruments on the video, that's the actual instance of me recording that sample. So, it's part sort of, I used the audio from the VSM5, and that's the point of the whole song, that every single piece of audio except all the synths was recorded with the VSM5. Let's see, there's something else here. I think that's me hitting the toilet bowl itself. So that's like toms / snare, something called a heavy snare. Okay, so that's me really heavily hitting the toilet seat there. Shaker, I think, is probably the toilet paper. Yeah, so you can see how low in volume that was and how much I had to boost it. So that's just me going and just scrubbing my finger on the toilet paper. The can is just like a can of sparkling water that I had lying around during the review video, and I was like, I just want more home regular products to put in there, and I thought putting this in there would help. Keyboard shaker, I think, has a bunch of hi-hats, and it's not this keyboard, it's a wireless keyboard, but it's just hitting the space bar like that. Snaps is really just finger snaps. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. There's also dog food shaker, so that's a dog bowl, like dog food, right? I have a dog food snare, which I don't think I used. Yeah, I don't think I used that. And then the spatula, that's like a barbecue spatula, basically. Okay, so that's all the samples themselves, the actual samples that I recorded. And then what I did is that I created a new EXS24 instrument. Very trustworthy, old school, ugly AF EXS24. And I learned a couple years ago how to sample, and this is like my third try at sampling something. So basically what I did is I just created a new instrument, a random, empty instrument, and I took those files, which I had bounced, and I dropped them in, and then I tuned them a little bit to match the tune of the song, like the key of the song. I adjusted the volume a little bit, and then I just mapped them to the keyboard. So regular bass drum here, another kind of bass drum, my snare, shakers right here, toms probably. All the sort of shakers, hi-hats, and all that stuff. And it's mapped, you probably can't see it now, but it's basically mapped the same way you would play regular MIDI drums. So, so. It's not perfect, but. Cool. More stuff around here. Let's see. Yep. That's really loud. Oh, other kinds of toms. Anyway, so, I won't go into an EXS24 tutorial. There are plenty of those out there. I actually tried making one, I think, years ago, one of my first videos ever, that nobody watched. So I won't go into too much detail, but basically what I did is I took those samples, dropped them in here. It's super easy. And then I just mapped it out and created my drum set like that. So, when the time came to write the actual song, I didn't have much of an idea. All I was thinking about, when I do these videos, I got the product and I sat on the product, figuratively, for at least a month. So the guy at Movo was like, all right, we're shipping you the microphone. And then it arrives like 3 weeks later or something like that. It was shipping from the States. So, I had a look and whatever, and I just tried it out really quickly. And that's about it. And then I started thinking about what I was going to do as a video, as a review video. And I always want my videos to be worth it. When brands send me stuff, I want to show them how appreciative I am. And so I go the extra mile as far as I'm concerned. That's my way of saying thank you. So when this came up, I'm like, oh man, I can't do just like a regular random product review video and just say, okay, buy it, whatever. I have to do that kind of song thing that I am sort of, known for doing now. Not, nobody knows about me, but the thing that the sort of standard that I hold myself to. So I just kept thinking for weeks and weeks, like 5-6 weeks, I'm like, fuck, I have to write this song. And I was listening to this song by Charlie Puth, I think, which is Patient. I think it's called Patient. And it's really not my style, okay? And it's not my style of music, not my cup of tea or anything like that. But I was listening to that song, and I won't sing it because I don't want this video to get flagged. But it was like, okay, it's this like very well-known chord progression, and it's got this sort of like old school soul kind of sexy vibe. So I'm gonna do the same kind of thing. And then for like a couple days I'm like Movo, and then I'm like fuck, oh yeah, it's the VSM5, so let's go Movo VSM5. And I'm like, what am I gonna say about this mic? I'm like, well, VSM probably stands for something. I have no idea what it stands for. I'm like, VSM, very very solid microphone. So the song sort of started writing itself at that point. So that sort of Movo VSM5, that's where it all started. So I knew I needed some kind of beat and whatnot. And so I was like, I'm at home. I've got an afternoon to make this video. I'm going to sample my chair and stuff that sounds like a snare and my toilet bowl because it's funny, because toilet. And I started building this kit and basically started by writing the drums. So if we look at sample kit, that's probably got a bunch of stuff on it. And then we've got toilet toms. So these 4 instruments probably make up the whole drum. Right. So chair, snaps, right? And then you got the shaker. So I have this kind of groove, right? Like, then VSM5. VSM stands for very solid microphone. I was like, okay, I've got the thing down. And then I thought I needed chords, and what's the perfect instrument for this moody, sexy sort of Charlie Puth style or sexual healing kind of vibe? Well, it's like nothing better. Classic E-piano, Rhodes style. That's the whole thing. And then I just had to add bass to that. And you can see the instruments are really in order that I built them. So the bass, I just fixed the bass. I loaded like this basic bass off of the Logic library. It's like this thumb bass or something. I really wanted to write the song quickly because I gave myself an afternoon, like pretty much from 11 a.m. to like 3 p.m. to do the whole thing. Including like shooting the video, writing the song, recording the whole thing. I wanted to do this fast, and so I just loaded this bass, and it just works. There's a chorus on there for sure. So it's a preset, right? Just direct box, and there's a bit of a chorus in there, bit of an EQ, and that's about it. There's a comp, of course. This is all Logic built-in plugins, nothing fancy. So I added bass, and then I thought, it needed some synths here and there. And I think the only synth I use is an 80s Starlight, which is another patch in Logic. And then there's Mystic, which I'm not sure I remember what it is. It's, again, a patch from Logic, and then Studio Sax. Like, it's all basic Logic stuff loaded in the library. That sort of built-in sound library that you have. So let's go to a part where there's more instruments. Most of it's panning. Movo, 75, baby. So this is sort of high-end decorative. So you've got the chords, the upper chords in the middle. Not much here. Stereo delay, silver verb. It's just EQ'd so that there's nothing in the bass that's sort of nothing in the way of the actual bass and bass drum and all that. And then a bit more percussive on the sides. And then this beautiful sound, this 80s mystic sound, when the song, when it goes from, what's that, in D probably? Yeah, so when it transposes from C to D, it's just this sort of nice little harmonic cushion. Right? And then, of course, I had to have sax in there. And like you can hear how cheap that saxophone sounds when you listen to it by itself. Basic MIDI library there. And this was played, like I just played it and I'm like, oh, let me go back a little bit. Just did that a couple times until I got to the right thing, and that was it apparently. So those are all the instruments. This is all the MIDI stuff in the song, which makes up about half of the song, and half of that is all the sampled stuff. So a mix of household items. And when we look at what I used to mix, there's a lot of compression in there. And don't judge me on my mixes, guys. I'm not a professional mixer, okay? I'm a musician, and I think if you can afford to have somebody else mix your songs, do it. But I can't. I have to mix my own stuff, and it's a learning experience for me. Every song that I write is a new learning experience. Let's see what we have in terms of buses. I have this Space Designer. That's a reverb, another reverb. Those are like the preloaded reverbs that come in when you load in a lot of those instruments. There's a comp on everything. It's probably different for each of them. Otherwise, I would have bussed them. Silver verb, stereo delay. So this is mostly in-box. How do you say it? Like, it's all stuff that comes with Logic when you buy Logic. Nothing fancy. I don't think I used a single instance of like a Sound Toys plugin or anything like that. It gets a bit more pricey, let's say, in my mix bus, because everything basically goes to the mix bus, I think, unless I have other buses, but I'm not sure. It goes here in this mix bus, and I've got a Brainworks Townhouse compressor, which, it's kind of expensive, but sometimes you have to treat yourself with nice stuff. I've got a J37 here, tape machine, which just adds a bit of noise and nice tape saturation. I've got another saturation plugin from Softube. I think this is free, the saturation knob. Love that plugin. Swiss Army, kind of a one knob wonder there that I use on everything. And I've got the adaptive limiter, again, from Logic. So I really like using built-in plugins from Logic because I think they work great and they're simple to use. And I figure, why spend thousands of dollars on plugins that I'll never use or that I don't know how to use properly? I figured I would learn the stuff that comes in Logic and try to get good mixes with that. And if you can't get good mixes with that, I don't think the problem is plugins. The problem is your mixing. That's my opinion. So my goal is to get good with built-in stuff. And as I start to understand those plugins and how a compressor works on a single strip or on a bus or on your mix bus, then once I start seeing limitations, if there are any in those plugins, then I'll get another one. That's kind of my my approach to plugins and all that stuff. Let's look real quickly at the stereo out. Something I learned recently that I just do shamelessly is that I do mid-side compression. It's kind of weird because you can't do both. You can't do mid-side with any of the Logic EQs. You have to load a mid one and you have to load a side one. But basically, you load the channel EQ, you select mid or side, and you see that on the sides, I removed a lot of the bass. And then I think I added another one, which is the mid only, and I added a bit of bass, just a little bit. And I am actually able to show you what that does. I'll give you just the sides by loading this friend right here. Let's go back to an area like right here, and I'll give you just the middle and then just the sides. You'll see how much bass there is in the middle and how little bass there is on the sides. So that's a mono mix right there. Let's wait a couple seconds. Let's bring back stereo. Now listen to just the sides. It's mostly gravy. It's mostly like spatial stuff. So the mix by itself in mono, in my opinion, sounds just as good. And whether or not that's important, I think that's debatable. I think most people listen through stereo headphones, but speakers, portable speakers, anything like that, most of those are mono. Is it that important to have your mono mix sound good? It's up for debate. I'm not going to have that debate now, but I think this mix sounds really good in mono, and then the stereo image stuff is just added gravy, added fun little candy. So mono, stereo. Now there's definitely some auto-tune in there for sure. Let's hit E. Yeah, there we go. Some flex pitch in there. But look, I sang this really fast. This is a one take, and it wasn't perfect, and I wanted it to be more perfect than the original take. So shameless pitch correction there. So those are the verses, and then we just go right into the chorus, which is all of this stuff. Boom.
VSM5.
Let's go back a little bit. So.
Movo. VSM5. VSM stands for very solid microphone.
Watch this here.
VSM5. Get your hands on one of these, link in the description. Movo. VSM5, baby. Not entirely sure what the 5 might stand for. Movo. VSM5.
Now let me hear some more of that homemade drum kit, baby. Come on. So, fairly simple as far as I'm concerned. This is 6 vocal tracks, obviously, but I am used to putting 10, 12, 16, 32 vocal tracks in my stuff. If you've ever listened to a single of mine called You Were Mine, which I'll link below, there's a lot of vocals in there. And in my old band called Bad Captain, there was a lot of vocals in there. Like on our album, Where We Belong, on a song, you can find 24, 36 tracks sometimes. So 4 tracks for me is nothing. Basically what we have is a low and a high vocal part and split. What I mean by that is that I recorded it once and then I panned that, then I recorded it again, panned the other way. And then I did a harmony above that for the same thing. So we've got 4 vocal tracks, and those are 4 tracks that we see here. So let's just mute them real quick and we'll listen to that.
Movo.
So those are the 2 regular ones.
Movo.
Right? And then we've got the high ones. No.
Movo.
Head voice. And then
what the 5 might stand for. Movo.
Call and response.
VSM5.
Now let me hear some more of that homemade. So fairly simple, really. It's just the name of the microphone, and VSM stands for something. I still don't know what VSM stands for, but that's what it stands for as far as the song is concerned. So
Movo. VSM5.
In the middle,
VSM
left side.
stands for very solid microphone. Movo.
automation.
VSM5.
Right side.
Get your hands on one of these, link in the description. Movo. VSM5, baby. Not entirely sure what.
And again, every clip that you see, every video clip that you see in the music video is me actually performing that. I don't like to lip sync over video. It feels kind of weird. And when I'm making this sort of these music video type videos, I like to actually film them. So another song that I released called Runaway, which was almost 2 years ago at this point, is mostly me playing the song. So it's kind of a more of a performance video, I guess. But every piece that you see in that video, like the quad pat and all that stuff, it's actually me filming myself. So when I produced this video, I was in here in this room with this microphone, this camera, and basically just put it different angles and filmed myself recording the song. So I didn't record it here and then just lip synced over it. This is the actual performance. And there's stuff that's kind of funny in there, like the sort of higher stuff. It's all improvised. I just hit record and I'm like, hit record on the camera and Logic. And I was like, all right, let's just try something. And it's this thing that... It just makes me laugh, man. There's something really lame about laughing at your own jokes, but hey, man, it was fun to make. So yeah, it's actually me just going like this, and of course it's exaggerated in the faces and whatever. It's all meant to be a joke with the Ron Burgundy saxophone there. What was his name again? What's his name? I forgot. In the his sort of alter ego. But yeah, it's all in good fun, and it was mostly improvised and just on the spot and all that. So in terms of vocal mixing, again, not a lot. Like a lot of compression, a bit of delay here and there, and a lot of EQ. Like you'd see a lot of bass is removed almost everywhere just to make way for the one bass part and that one bass drum, because it's not a real bass drum and it's just like this here. I needed space, I needed that to take a lot of space, and I needed as much space for bass as I needed space for bass. So the bass is kind of loud in the middle right there, low D. So there you go, man. That's pretty much it in terms of the Movo song. Most of this was programmed. Like the vocals obviously were performed, but a lot of the MIDI was programmed. Like I play a little bit of it, and I'm not a really good piano player, but I'm not bad. And usually, I'll just go like, oh, sorry, I need a piano. I'll go like, like, okay, like, okay, the song's in C, so okay, I got it. Okay, yeah. So like I'll play it like that, like really basic chords, and then I'll just go in and reprogram it or sort of fix it by dragging the notes and making sure that the parts sound okay and it's not too parallel and all that stuff. So right, and I'll go and arrange it, fix it, quantize it, and all that. Usually I'll do the same with drums. Like I'll try and play them, right? This I can do for ages. I'm playing them, by the way. But then I'll again go and add some stuff here and there, quantize it and whatnot. Bass I played, but a lot of stuff is just programmed. I've been doing this forever, so it took me maybe an hour or two to program all this MIDI stuff to make it sound right and all that. And then I recorded those vocals. Most of it done on the fly with inspiration and a deadline. That's something that I find really cool and important. Just giving yourself a deadline and telling yourself, 3 p.m., I have to go pick up my girlfriend. This song has to be done. And it was done at 3 p.m. And then I spent, the same evening or something like that, maybe a couple hours to mix it. And you can see by the simplicity of this mix, you might see a lot of plugins here, but it's just duplicating tracks. And a lot of times when you load these instruments in Logic, they come with these, channel EQ and a comp preloaded, and then I just added some stereo delay here and there. Nothing crazy in my mix bus, nothing crazy in my stereo out. The only thing that's kind of special is just adding that mid-side EQ where I'm taking a lot of bass out of the sides and pushing it in the middle a little bit to create this space. And you have the Movo song right there. A wonderful song that, and a wonderful video that not a lot of people have watched, but that I really, really like. I don't know. I love doing this kind of stuff. I love when brands send me stuff and my way of saying thank you is putting a lot of effort into it. That in itself, there's this funny song and the smile on my face now, just remembering how fast I wrote the song and how kind of stupid the whole thing was and ridiculous, and the humor behind it, the sort of, not taking yourself too seriously as an artist and all that. This whole mentality behind it, that's all worth it as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if it doesn't get a lot of views. I don't care if it's not as popular as all my React videos and all that. I know that probably nobody made it this far in this video, but making this kind of stuff, it's really fun to do, really fun to make. And making this video was kind of cool too, right? I hope you learned something. If you did, or if you didn't, let me know in the comments below. Please write any questions, suggestions about this song, about any of my other songs. All right, let's move on to vocals and lyrics. Now, I have the chorus, right? I wrote it over a couple of weeks in my head. This VSM stands for something something. So I have that down. That's fine. And I think what I did is I recorded part of it, or at least like the sort of lead part. But then I had to write verses. And I thought it would be quite funny to just basically flashback to what we just saw in the video. So I figured, you know what, I'll just write what happens. This brand called Movo sent me an email asking, can I review this mic? And then I opened it, and then, okay, that's what happened. So I had the song down. I had recorded all this MIDI stuff. I had recorded part of this chorus, and I'm like, okay, let's go in for the verse. So this is...
I'm looking at my email, what do I see? A brand called Movo wants to work with me. Don't send me a microphone, I'll give it a go. Use it for a while and make a review video.
So it's exactly what happened. For some reason, I find that kind of funny. And in terms of mixing and effects, a bunch of bass removed. And it's just problematic stuff that I found. If I remove it, let me just go back to that area. Let's move this out of the way. Right here. Let's just turn off this EQ, see how it sounds.
I'm looking at my email, what do I see? A brand called...
So way too much bass, probably. I was probably too close, or I didn't have this little, where is it? Yeah, this low cut or high pass activated. So too much bass in there, so I just fixed it a little bit with the EQ. And then I think there's just a bit of delay, maybe some reverb in there. There we go. And a compressor, that's about it, for that. And then I just duplicated that track and sang what happens next, which is I open the box and...
Open the box, I see 2 pieces of paper. Lift up the phone, I find an XLR cable.
If you enjoyed this video, please just leave a like on it. I know I say it at the end of the video where everybody's clicked away already, but hit like. It really, really helps small channels like mine. It just pushes it that much further up the algorithm. If you made it this far, you are one hell of a trooper. Let me know in the comments, okay? Comment, this is the way, or I have spoken, something like that. Then I'll know that you are one hell of a trooper. You watched the whole thing. For that, I want to thank you very much. And I guess I'll see you next time. All right, that's it. Bye, guys.